Pennsylvania has some of the oldest roads and bridges in the country. That means we need money to maintain them and to add new roads in high traffic areas to relieve congestion. Let's spend a few minutes discussing the state's transportation needs with State Representative John Taylor. Welcome.
Hi.
Can you briefly describe to the viewers what we're up against in Pennsylvania as far as our transportation needs and the dollars to fund
We have
it?
a transportation funding issue that's been going on for decades and not properly funded. Now we're at the point where we're $3.5 billion behind in terms of capital needs. What viewers should really know is that we have 4,700 bridges that need to be repaired in Pennsylvania. It's 4,700. A lot of our highways are in fact bridges. People don't think of it that way, but there's bridges throughout Pennsylvania that need to be repaired. We have 8,000 miles of roadway that are in dire need of repair. We've been sort of delaying this problem for quite a few years. Nobody wants to deal with it in a budget, and it's actually way too big now to deal with it in a normal general fund budget. So we need to do something separate, and I think that at least that process is beginning now.
Not only is it a safety issue, we want people to be able to travel safely and confidently over the bridges and safely on our highways, but how is it important to our economy?
Well, whether it's senior citizens getting to doctor appointments or students getting to school or employees getting to work, it's a huge problem, particularly in Philadelphia. We not only have a major commute into Philadelphia, we have a major commute out of Philadelphia every morning as I go through when I'm coming to Harrisburg early in the morning. We need funding not only for those bridges and roads, but for mass transit as well. Mm-hmm. We have 1 million people every day that use our SEPTA system. We have a major problem with that too. So between those two things, if people can't get to work, products can't be made, businesses can't function, schools can't operate. If we have bridges that will begin to close all over southeast Pennsylvania because they're not being repaired, we'll have an economic crisis.
Now, Governor Corbett's put out a plan to fund some of this with uncapping a tax that the oil and gas companies pay. Where do you stand on that? And
I think that's one of the many ways we have to deal with this. The oil franchise tax, which is really a wholesale tax, has been capped. Not so much the rate of tax, but the price of a gallon of gas has been capped. So we're going to release that cap. That'll generate a significant amount of money. And the governor has proposed about $1.8 billion a year. Senator Rafferty in the Senate, which is a bill I would tend to support more, proposed about $2.8 billion a year. So that'll only not lift the cap on the franchise tax, but also increase our fees for licenses and registration, mm-hmm. and actually some fines for traffic violations. It comes out to maybe $2 a week, but that's the kind of price we have to pay now. We either have to figure out a way to pay it, particularly use motorists as the group that pays, or we're not going to get around the state unless we do that.
So the cost of construction materials and those things just continue to balloon, which makes the problem bigger.
Sure, that goes up. The faster we act, the less money we will spend. And it's a jobs issue as well. We think we can put a lot of people to work with this project. But people aren't going to be able to get to their jobs that they have now if we don't fix some of these bridges.
Well, it's a problem I'm sure you and the rest of the legislature will be dealing with in the coming months, and you'll keep us posted, I guess.
Should be our top priority.
Yeah. Well, if you have comments or questions about this or any other legislative topic, Representative Taylor's contact information will be shown in just a few moments. Thanks for spending a few minutes with State Representative John Taylor.